Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Committee for Dulles lunch time virtual event. Thank you for joining us today. It is wonderful to be with all of you. I am Scott York, Executive Director of the Committee for Dulles. For those not familiar with CFD, this organization was founded in 1966 and is the oldest member-sponsored organization promoting Washington Dulles International Airport. In short, our mission is to support the economic vitality of the airport and support the continued growth of airport operations and the growth of the economic corridor surrounding the airport. Our membership is made up of businesses, local governments, nonprofits, and individuals. On behalf of our leadership, if you are not a member of CFD, I invite you to join the committee, and you may do so by visiting us at committeefordulles.org. That's committeefordulles.org, or by emailing me at scottyork@committeefordulles.org. Before turning the meeting over to our president, I need to take care of a few housekeeping items for today's meeting and make one announcement. First, please make sure you keep your devices on mute at all times. Should you have any questions, please relay them via the chat function. Second, please be aware that we are recording this event today. All or portions of the recording may be used for Committee for Dulles purposes only. Third, each person who registered to be here today has their name entered in a giveaway drawing for airline tickets and more that will take place at the end of this program. The only stipulation to winning is that you must be present for when your name is called during the drawing. I want to thank United, Qatar, Air France, and KLM for their generosity in being ticket sponsors for us. Lastly, and here's my announcement, we all received a taste of winter yesterday. So there's no better time than today to plan for the spring. The Committee for Dulles is holding a golf tournament on April 26 at the Westfields Golf Club. You are all invited to register, and in a few minutes you will receive an email from me containing details on the event and registration. Some of these proceeds from the tournament will be going to the Committee for Dulles Community Outreach Scholarship Program. I hope all of you will be able to join us in April. Now I would like to introduce our president, Jack Vega. Jack has been a member of the committee for 8 years and has served as its president since January of 2019. This week, he was approved by the board of directors to serve another year as president for 2021. Jack is a principal with Rogers Consulting, located in Germantown, Maryland. Mr. President, the virtual floor is yours.
Thank you, Scott. And good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our Committee for Dulles December 17th lunch meeting. I know you have several choices on where you could be at this hour, so we want to thank you for choosing to be with us today. We have a terrific program today. I'm looking forward to hearing from Mike Stewart, Vice President of MWA and the Airport Manager for Washington Dulles International Airport, on his take of what's happening at Dulles. As we know, it's been an unprecedented year, so I'm anxious to hear Mike's report in a few minutes. I also want to recognize the presence of a few regional leaders that are participating in this call. Council member Signe Fredericks from the Herndon Town Council, former Virginia House Delegate Joe May, Scott Johnson, TSA Federal Security Director at Washington Dulles International Airport, Buddy Reiser, Executive Director of the Loudoun County Department of Economic Development, and Mr. Jack Potter, President and CEO of the Metropolitan Washington Airports Authority. Thank you all for joining us. I want to recognize also and thank our partner sponsor, Loudoun County Economic Development, our advocate sponsor, the Fairfax County EDA, and today's program sponsor, GAM Graphics and Marketing. Thank you for your support of the Committee for Dulles. As you are all aware, it became necessary to postpone the 2020 Tower Award reception. We are hoping that we will be able to reschedule the reception for some time in the spring. Given its postponement, I personally want to thank and recognize all of our reception sponsors and host. They are Signature Flight Support, our event host and premier Platinum Tower sponsor. We continue to work with them on rescheduling and are very grateful for their adaptability during this time. Our Platinum Tower sponsor, Jade Aviation. Our Gold Tower sponsor, Dewberry. Our Silver sponsor, ECS. Our tower hosts, Arrowbrook Center, Clark Hook Corporation, the Fairfax Christian School, and Rogers Consulting. Our tower patron, Pinoni. Our face mask sponsor, Northwest Federal Credit Union. Our music entertainment sponsor, Dave and Mary Kirby. And there were several gift sponsors such as United, Qatar, KLM, and Air France. You will hear more about them later in the program. I also want to thank the Dulles Airport Marriott, the Worldgate Marriott, the Baltimore Marriott Waterfront, the Bethesda Suites Marriott, the Washington Dulles Hilton, and the Dulles Hyatt Regency for their various gift donations, particularly during this time where the hospitality industry is decimated. We were so close to having this evening to recognize TSA and two other individuals, Dick Datos and John Boylan, for their good works. Even though we needed to postpone it, we did decide that we would present the 3 awards in a private setting to ensure the safety for all. These presentations and remarks by the recipients will be shown following our guest speaker. We will conclude today's event, as Scott mentioned, with the help of United, Qatar, KLM, and Air France, who are graciously allowing us to give away the 6 tickets today. Now, it is my pleasure to introduce Mike Stewart, Vice President of the Metropolitan Washington Airports Authority and the Washington Dulles International Airport Manager. Mike was appointed in November of 2017 to lead a dedicated professional team at Dulles Airport. Previous to this position, he served as Vice President of Airline Business Development at the Airports Authority for 2 years. He also held several key positions at the Airports Authority and in the aviation industry, including Dulles Airport's Manager of Airport Administration, the Airports Authority's Manager of Airline Affairs, Director of Corporate Real Estate and Airport Affairs for Independence Air, and management positions with U.S. Airways and Piedmont Airlines. He holds a Bachelor's of Science degree in Aerospace Administration from Middle Tennessee State University. Mike has agreed to take questions at the end of the presentation. If you have questions you wish to ask Mike, please use the Zoom chat function. With limited time, we will do our best to get all of the questions in. Mike, thank you very much for being with us today. The time is yours.
Thank you, Jack. I appreciate it. And as always, it's a pleasure to be with everybody. I am getting tired of this virtual stuff, as I know all of you are. The one benefit is that wearing this headset, people like Keith Merlin don't have to stand up in the back and tell me to speak up so they can hear. But I'll try to get through this, keep everybody awake, and hopefully give you a little insight as to what we're doing here at the airport, and invite you to come out anytime that you can and then kind of see what all has changed. But we'll kind of back up. You know, last year I was able to spend a lot of time talking about how great everything was going, record growth, just everything was kind of roses, and that continued all the way up into February, and then things changed. But I'm getting a reputation of canceling things. I had to rain on the parade for the Tower Award a little bit, and 2 out of my 3 years here, we've had to cancel the plane pull. So I'm looking forward to 2021, kind of getting back on track here and make sure we get all this stuff ironed out. So I'm going to see if I can share my screen here. And if we're lucky, you'll see something besides pictures of yourself. So I can no longer see you. You got that, jacket? Thank you. All right. So what a difference a year does make. And if you look back at where we'd been going, you can see starting all the way back in 2014, 15, we started growing. And that was happening because we were bringing our costs down. We were had some great partners with United and the other airlines growing the service here. And then you get up to 2020, and at least for this chart, through the first 9 months, the bottom just fell out of it. And this is total pasture. So where we were up around better than 24 million, we dropped dramatically. And not sure why my month labels keep changing the numbers here, but as you can see for 2020, back at the first of the year, we're going gangbusters. And then we dropped off typically a little bit in February anyway. And then the bottom really falls out in March and April. But the good news is you can see that we are starting to climb back out of it. We've leveled off a little bit here towards the end of the year, but what I call trickle up growth. And as I traded a couple of emails with one of my friends at United this morning, they've got over 13,000 pastures locally going out this weekend. It's hard to believe that we'd celebrate 13,000, but right now we're all tickled to death to have 13,000 people leaving this airport. And that is the heaviest we've been since early March. So things are starting to show a little bit. I think United's load factors are increasing, certainly are this week. So continue to push and get it done. And how are we doing that? We've all seen this, at least the ones that live on this side of the river, rebuilding passenger confidence. And the masks are required. And they have been at the airport. We actually started the airport with employees anyway, before the mandate came out from the governor. But we're reminding people constantly, do the healthy habits, cover your nose and mouth, wash your hands. We make announcements through the terminal, doing everything we can to remind people to try to keep it safe. And it's all about building that passenger confidence back. That's what we've got to do. So you see my employees here, even the ones that are behind the scenes, are typically in mask and covered up. And that's to keep their coworkers as well as anybody they come in contact with. This has kind of become our new world. We spend a lot of time, a lot more time cleaning and disinfecting than we ever have in the past. You see the center picture. That's our custodial group, and what looks like a spaceman is using electrostatic spray to clean one of the mobile lounges. We do that with ticket counters, any area where we think we might have had a positive COVID case come through. We'll try to come through and right behind them with the electrostatic spray and disinfect. Good thing is that virus is very easy to kill, so it's a matter of just getting to it and getting it wiped down. Dulles already had a very aggressive cleaning schedule. So where we were already doing cleanings say restrooms every hour, you saw a lot of other airports around the country that stepped up to our standard once COVID started. We actually stepped up a little bit more and try to keep it as clean as certainly we would want it to be and exceed expectations. Other areas that you see a lot of hand sanitizers now around the airport. I think my staff's installed somewhere close to 350 of these in various areas. We try to put them anywhere we think you might want to clean your hands. We've tried to put one of these hand sanitizers. And at the same time, also remind people that first choice is washing your hands. You'll see them on the side of information counters. You'll see freestanding ones scattered all over the airport. I think we now own stock in whoever makes plexiglass. We've installed well over 400 plexiglass shields around the airport, ticket counters, gates, anywhere where we have a contact between our employees and the public or airline employees and the public, the international arrivals buildings, anywhere that we can kind of shield employees, that's what we've tried to do. And a lot of these are custom made just because of the counters that they're sitting on. But in this case, we rolled this out and we're getting these up well ahead of the some of the requirements that were starting to come out. One of the things we had to do, there's a lot of things that we can't do in the airport just because of the way the building's built or the way crowds flow. But what we can do is remind people, social distance, provide extra space. And we've tried to take every opportunity to put that word out there so that people, if they don't see our signage, something's wrong. Or we've missed something, and we're constantly going back and checking this, replacing any that's defaced, but just continue to kind of push that message. We used a lot of digital to get the message out, whether it be the CDC's messaging or our own. Again, reminding people the healthy habits to wear their mask, as well as showing them how to get around the airport. A lot of social media, these days that's the way to get any word out. And for those that have heard of hashtag Manager Mike, I do a fair share of that, and that that little Twitter account of mine has started during COVID. And some would tell you this because I got bored and didn't have anything else to do, but we found that it's a really good way to message, and people seem to appreciate it. And I put a little different spin on it than probably our social media professionals do downtown, but it's all about making it a little bit fun and getting the word out. So here we just again are kind of reiterating what we've already done, what we've already covered. Also got our concessions reopening. If you came through the airport or have been through recently, you know that a lot of our concessions had to close down. You know, these are businesses too. They rely on the passenger traffic to be able to sustain themselves, and it's been a real challenge to get some of these folks back in business. But our concessions group is doing a great job of working with them, setting it up so that as our passengers do come back, we know what locations we need to put things in. They know where the passenger volumes are going to be, when they're going to be, so that we can try to kind of match the demand with what their capabilities are. It'll be a while before we get them all open yet, but we've got a pretty good coverage now in all the concourses in the main terminal, and we're continuing to try to open more as it makes sense for the concessionaires and for the community in general. Our air service, 55 nonstop destinations, 38 of them operating as of this month. 17 are hoping to restart in 2021. And you'll see some a mixture here of what's returning and what's already started. Same thing on the domestic side. And what a lot of people don't realize is despite the coronavirus, we've actually added new or expanded service in 2020. We've got United started West Palm Beach, and you can read down the left side there. Some starting as early as or as late as here this week. So it's continuing to grow, continuing to pick niche markets that Dulles does well in. You see some new destinations popping up next year. A couple of big internationals that are going through the approval process. Some of my favorites like Santo Domingo. So getting a few good ones in there. And not to be left out, we've got some other carriers growing as well. Southwest is adding, got Fort Lauderdale started back this month, and they're also going to add back Chicago Midway, which has been gone for a few years. They're going to start this in March, and that's one of our more demanded markets over the last few years. A lot of people have missed that route. If you look at some of the rating agency predictions, you kind of see us bottomed out in 2020, and the only thing that's certainty here, the pattern is all the same. It's just a matter of when they think that we're going to get back to kind of the 2019 levels. So if you look at this chart, 0% is 2019. That's the baseline. So how long are they predicting it's going to be before we get back out? And you can see the red and green lines there, the Fitch numbers. They're looking at 2023 to get back to 2019 numbers. Some of the others not quite so optimistic. A lot of that's going to depend on the vaccine rollout. It's going to depend on the airlines, obviously. But the one thing that'll maybe help them a little bit is the Airports Authority has done a phenomenal job across the board, all offices, starting with Jack Potter, to keep our cost per enplanement as low as we can possibly keep it. And that's at the end of the day, hopefully that's what incentivizes airlines to restart Dulles versus other markets they might be starting up as they get their aircraft back in the sky. But the right now we're projecting our cost per enplanement to be about $18.63 next year. It's obviously, when you look at the line, it is up, not where we would have been without 2020, but it's certainly as good or better than just about any other airport out there. You see Reagan National is actually going to tweak up above us a little bit. A lot of reasons for that, but the part of that's the cost that'll come online. But you look at 1863 versus what you may see in some of these other markets, and we're hoping that that gives a lot of incentive to the airlines to get the service started sooner and to get back on a growth pattern with United. Mike Acosta, I know you're on here, so take that message back and make sure we get some extra flying out of it. And I know United appreciates the work that's been done. You know, we spent the year trying to do a few things that made sense. We didn't want to spend money where we didn't have to, but in some cases it makes a lot of sense to get some things done while you have the ability to. If you take a look at this picture, you're seeing our 3 commercial curbs. For those that know the airport well, you know, we only had two for many years. The two on the right side for taxis, for buses, those types of things. Well, the number one thing that we were running into passenger congestion, traffic congestion last year that I was speaking about on the arrivals and departures curve were driven by the TNCs, the Uber, Lyft, the Vias of the world. So during this pandemic, we got a third lane opened up on the commercial level, the far left. We actually carved a lane out of the terminal parking lot. We've set this up now so that the Uber, Lyft, and Via come in to that third curb. Our passengers have very clear signage that shows where they need to go to be picked up. They have curb markings to be able to tell the drivers where they are. It's worked out very well and it's certainly eased some of the congestion on the arrivals level in particular. We still see some times when people are stacking up there a little bit, but it's not because of the TNC operation. And this has worked very well. It's actually gotten quite a bit of recognition as a good way to have done this. Uber and Lyft have been thrilled with the operation that we've set up. Also done some rehabilitation work on one of the runways, and we're starting a second one now. Paving and striping of parking lots doesn't sound like much, but if you look at that bowl parking lot, as we call it, out in front of the terminal, can you imagine trying to resurface that lot in normal times? That lot usually stays 80 to 90% full most of the time. That makes it really challenging to get asphalt put down and get striping done. We use this opportunity to get it all done and renovated that'll last us for years to come. Same thing with some of our employee lots that we never get an opportunity to do. Maintenance and cleaning, we've done a tremendous amount. You see power washers out. You actually, if you've been out here in the last couple of weeks, you may have seen them power washing and doing a little painting around the top of the terminal itself. Things that you really just can't do when you've got large crowds out here, at least not very easily. We've replaced boilers and other HVAC equipment. We've added electric vehicle charging stations in our garages, and we're always upgrading signage and digital displays just to help people move around, give them better messaging. If you've driven in on the Access Highway in the last couple of days, you might have seen a Happy Holidays message. We've got 5 digital monitors over the highway out there that we've been working on for several years. Got them activated, and we're working on getting them all programmed now. So anything we can do to kind of make it easier to navigate inside or outside the terminals, we've been focused on that this year. And again, just a couple of shots of some of the work that's been done this year. Dulles Toll Road, you might have seen here recently, we're getting ready to go completely cashless on it in 2021. We were planning on January, but we pushed that back a little bit, really to give people an opportunity to go out and get the easy passes. Better than 95% of our customers already use them. So from that standpoint, it's not a big deal, but want to give people the opportunity. Traffic on the toll road has been down, just like all the rest of the traffic around, but it's starting to grow back now, and going cashless is the right thing to do down the road. And this just gives us an opportunity to do that and smooth traffic out on the road. And even though I'm not building it, it is nice to see they've got the windscreen up on the Dulles station now. And if you've been out in the last week or so, you see the glass walls on the terminal side of the windscreen. The station really looks nice. It's nice to see the Dulles Airport on the metro system as soon as we can get it handed over to them and they get it tested. But I won't give you an update on something that I don't work on, but it is the station anyway, sitting out here at Dulles, and it's nice to see it up and ready to run. And with that, I told Scott I would try not to talk too long, or Jack, I wouldn't talk too long. I'd try to answer some questions. I'd be happy to field anything that might come up.
All right. Thank you, Mike. Appreciate that very much. Very informative. Any questions on the chat? I don't see any. If you'd like to raise your hand, I will gladly unmute yourself, or if you raise your hand, then I'll unmute you.
Jack,
Scott.
I'll jump in here. Mike, I believe you said that you still have 17 carriers that you're waiting to resume service and are scheduled to do so in 2021. Of those 17, how many are anticipated to return in the first quarter?
You know, Scott, I don't have that list with me, but, and I don't know that I've got my air service. Yield Sirhan, do you happen to be on here?
If you don't have it, you can send it to me later. And
We'll get it for you, Scott. I don't have it with me at the moment.
Any other, any touchless, I have a question here from regarding touchless technologies that will be rolled out in 2021.
So I would tell you, we're always looking at touchless technology on everything, Paige. But you also have to realize that a lot of the things that you run into in the airport are not the airport authority. So when we install equipment, everything we're trying to do it touchless. Airline kiosk, you see the airlines that have their own kiosk, check-in kiosk. A lot of them are going touchless, voice controlled. TSA, Scott Johnson may talk about it a little bit. TSA's going touchless, basically. Looking at anywhere you can keep somebody from having to touch anything, that's obviously the way to do it, whether it be voice controlled or otherwise. A lot of the technology has been evolving that way over the years, but specific things, you know, things that we do, we don't have too many doors in this terminal. Most of our buttons, elevator buttons and things are still there, but we do have the antimicrobial coating on them. But anywhere that we can possibly stop you from having to touch anything, we're trying to do that along with our partners that carry out the various activities here in the airport.
All right, I'm starting to see some more questions on the chat, Mike. I'm gonna ask you a couple.
Sure.
From one of our members, update on cargo. What's been the impact on cargo during the pandemic?
So cargo is measured a lot of different ways. You know, typically it's airplanes, freighter aircraft. We've seen quite a few of those through the pandemic because we were one of the funnel cities that everything coming over from overseas needed to come through here. So whether you were passenger or cargo, a lot of those flights funneled through here. The funnels have been lifted now, so we don't see quite as many, but we are continuing to see a lot of cargo activity that's primarily pandemic related. But most of your typical cargo activity is kind of like everything else, kind of tapered off. But a lot of opportunities out there right now, and we're hearing a lot of interest from developers and others about potential cargo growth. But right now, the way we measure it, we get rent for buildings, and we get landing fees on landed weight for aircraft. And we're not seeing any dedicated freighters right now, but we continue to work on them. So I would say that the cargo business has it's one of the areas of aviation that's got a positive outlook right now. Maybe not dramatic growth, but the opportunity's there. And I think as you see things like the cool centers that are required for pharmaceuticals, vaccines, we've heard a lot about that here recently. There's a lot of opportunity there to grow that type of business. Hope that answered the question. I didn't get my chat function turned on.
Sure, thank you. The next question that we see on our chat is there rapid tested for COVID going on at the airport?
We do not have any testing going on in the airport right now. Some of the airlines are looking at it. Some of the airlines require, or other destinations require testing to be done. It's something we're looking at. Yeah, that's not a core business for the Airports Authority. Those are usually operated as concessions. Some cases airlines may do it themselves as a service, but we are constantly looking at it as something that you know, if everybody else is certainly doing it, it's something we want to look at and try to get implemented. But I can tell you right now, we're in conversation with a few different entities that could do the testing. There are different types of tests out there. Depends on what's required and who needs it, but it really boils down to what our passengers and our airlines feel they need to have, and we'll try to meet the demand.
There's another question on revenues for the toll road and recovery. Revenue recovery.
So the toll road, I don't have I almost took that slide out because I didn't have any toll road information with me, but the revenue is like the traffic on the road. I mean, it's way down and it's starting to come back up a little bit right now. But it's a very difficult business to gauge when you've got a lot of federal government, a lot of contractors, and out of those businesses, you've got a lot of teleworking going on. The roads obviously have taken an impact, and ours is no different. But it is starting to come back, and I'll see if we can't get you the some exact numbers. But it is starting to come back up, just nowhere near where it was in 2019.
Thank you. I have a couple more questions, and let me see, they're scrolling a little fast. What has the airport seen with regards to the return of business and general aviation at the airport?
Okay, business general aviation. So I would tell you that it was not as impacted as commercial traffic. Everything took an initial hit back in March and April. But the corporate aviation side of things has shown a little more growth and resilience. Probably makes a little bit of sense when you think about it. If you've got the money to have your own airplane and in the uncertainty that's been going on, can you afford to fly it? I think that's probably answered part of it. But some of the fractional operators are starting to see a little bit more business. So I think it has been certainly as well off of where it was in 2019 as well, but it's probably recovering a little quicker than the commercial traffic is at this point.
So I have one of our members to ask a two-part question about airline business development perspective. Do you see additional routes being added after March to Nigeria? And will having a metro station, your thoughts on the metro station making an impact or more attractive for international travelers?
So I will not touch the what might be coming after March question. I've been out of airline business development for a couple of years. I can touch a little bit on the rail because I did a lot of traveling in airline business development. And one of the first things that comes out of just about every sales and marketing group for an international airline is, what about public transportation? And it's not so much that it's a huge selling point, but it's something that their customers want to know is there. And I can tell you, just when we opened phase one of the rail and we opened the Silverline Express bus, I was here at Dulles when we did that. And the first bus that left Dulles Airport going to connect with the metro at Wheelie was, I think it was a Korean Air flight that about, the bus holds 50, it had 45 Korean passengers on it. So it is a huge benefit to the traveling public, and it's something that most international markets expect. So it's absolutely a plus.
Thank you. Have a couple more questions regarding E-ZPass pay for parking or touchless technologies for parking.
So we're looking at some ways, touchless ways to do parking, but pay for parking. E-ZPass is one we've looked at several times, and we'll always continue to look at it. But I'll leave it this way: it's a lot more complicated than it sounds. There are a number of agreements behind the scenes to work with E-ZPass. You would think that because we've got the toll road, maybe it would be a little easier, and it's really not. There is quite a bit of behind the scenes work that has to be done to put those agreements in place. But it's certainly something we're looking at, and probably right now we're looking more at other touchless technology, app payments and that type of thing than we are with E-ZPass. But it's never off the realm of possibilities.
So I will ask three of our members to unmute themselves. I see their questions on the chat, but I figure I'd switch it up a little bit. Marcia, would you like to unmute yourself and ask your question, then followed by Georgia and then Mike Sawyers, and then we'll wrap it up and turn it over back to Scott.
So my question is about the employees. How many were reduced in your staff size? Did you participate in any of the government programs like the PPP? And when do you anticipate being able to bring back all the employees?
So I'm happy to report that the Airports Authority has not had to furlough anybody at this point. We have done a lot of modification to work schedules. We've shifted a lot of people to teleworking. We did get CARES Act funding that was a help to us, both for our own employees as well as to give some of these concessionaires and other companies that do business around the airport some relief there. But as of right now, we've not had to furlough any of our airport authority employees. I don't get all the data for what every employer on the airport does as far as their numbers go, but you know, the airport in its heyday a few years ago probably had 25,000 badged employees for various companies working on the property. A significant number of, particularly when you talk about ground handling companies, the airlines, wheelchair pushers and skycaps, service providers, all their activities down. There have been a significant number of reductions there, but but I know the airlines and those companies are trying to get them back as fast as they can. It's just kind of that chicken and egg. You got to get the pastors in the business before they can really afford to do something. But everybody that I know of that is able to apply for the government aid has done so. I don't have an accounting for, say, what a ground handling company may have gotten or how they've used the money themselves, but I do know just in the meetings that we have here at the airport, that's been everybody's focus, is how do we get things back to normal, not just from a business perspective, but how do you get the employees back and kind of move forward out of this pandemic that we've been in.
Thank you.
Hope
Thank you,
that,
Mike.
hope that answered it, Marsh.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Georgia?
Thank you. Oops, let me take off my video. Hi, thank you very much.
I like your hat.
Well, thank you so much. Try to be festive. We wanted to talk about, well, let me back up. The Legislative and Economic Development Committee had Elizabeth McQueen speak to us and Kimberly Horn, and she talked about the future of manless vehicles, the drones that could play into travel in the future. And I know we're maybe a decade off or more, but from your perspective, how will robotics play in the future of Dulles and also drone vehicles?
So big range of ways that you could answer that, Georgia. The autonomous vehicles, I think that's going to be driven by kind of the society around us. But it's something we are certainly looking at now and making plans for, is how do we accommodate that? You know, it makes me nervous. I'm old fashioned. I like to sit behind the wheel, but if we have an influx of autonomous vehicles, we've got to find a way to accommodate them. They're going to be on our roads. In some cases may want to park, even though there's not a driver parking them. So we're certainly looking at that. We may have uses for them on the airport. Airlines may find that they can use those to deliver bags or do other functions around the airport. And the same with drones. Drones are a powerful tool used the right way. So we are constantly looking at, in conjunction with our partners at FAA and TSA, as to what could we use those drones for. We already use them on occasion today. I've used them for videoing some of our scenario events that we do are required to do. We used it actually for the plane pull last year to do some video. But we're looking at them for things like checking our perimeter fence, checking for FOD on the runways, using them, in some cases we use them to look and inspect the roof and components on the roof of the buildings. So there's a lot of uses there, but obviously when you're starting to fly something around an airport and you got people on airplanes, you want to be extremely careful with it, make sure it's done the right way. So when we come to talking about drones, we've got a multi-level partnership with TSA and FAA and others working on making sure that all gets looked at and that things are done safely when we start using those technologies. Absolutely is going to be something that we're going to go to. You think about 5 years ago, there were no TNCs, and I think I may have said this last year. There were no TNCs at either airport. 2019, we were up 1,500 an hour or something, Ubers and Lyfts coming through the airport. So you've got to be up with the changes, and in this dynamic industry, you've got to be planning for that type of thing all the time. We're certainly looking at both of those technologies and how to accommodate them.
What about robot greeters? Have you thought about that? I've seen that some airports globally are doing that. Is that even feasible?
It would depend on what it's needed for. I mean, we had a trying to find the right word in my mind, but we had a digital greeter here for a few years. In fact, I think we've still got her in a closet somewhere here, that does the virtual greeting. Yes, it can be used in different places. Sometimes the cost of the technology, depending on what you want to do, doesn't pan out, but it's certainly something that can be utilized in the right location.
Mike,
Thank you so much.
thank you, Georgia. Mike Stewart. Mike Sawyers doesn't have his audio working. So regarding cost per employment, the authority and the airport has reduced cost CP significantly over the last 5 years. What low-hanging fruit do you see that could help tick CP down further in the next 5 years?
The easiest way at this point to bring CP down is there's two sides to that equation. You've got the cost and you've got the employments. So the easy way to move that number is to get the employments back on. You know, the cost, I think we've done a great job of probably culling out most of the low hanging fruit. We always are continuing to look and finding new things, but when you're talking about our cost, you know, you got to keep your debt service down. You've got to keep your operating maintenance budgets down. But the quickest way to push that number, the most dramatic way to push that number, is to really see those passenger employments get back up where they need to be and grow.
Thank you. I think I want to thank our participants today for their questions. I'll turn it back over to Scott. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate your presentation. It was excellent. Hopefully my technology will work on this. We wanted to take the opportunity at this time with everybody here to show a video of the presentations that Jack did to TSA, represented by Scott Johnson, and to Dick Datos and John Boylan, and their comment. So I am going to go into share screen, and hopefully with a lot of prayers, we'll make this work.
I'm pleased to be with Scott Johnson, who is the Transportation Security Administration's Federal Security Director at Washington Dulles International Airport. Scott is here representing approximately 750 transportation security officers, regulatory inspectors, K-9 handlers, explosive technicians, and administrative staff. And I'm here to present Scott and the Dulles TSA team with the Committee for Dulles Tower of Dulles Award. The Tower of Dulles Award is given for meritorious service, providing for the betterment of Washington Dulles International Airport and the Dulles Economic Corridor. This is the highest recognition offered by the Committee for Dulles. Given the most difficult year caused by the pandemic, the Committee for Dulles could not think of an individual or group or entity more deserving of this award than the 750 individuals that make up the TSA team at Dulles Airport. The passenger experience with TSA usually becomes the face for all of Dulles. TSA officers and staff are trained to give passengers the best experience possible so that all of the Dulles community can benefit. Because of COVID-19, it's been a very difficult year at Dulles International Airport. Through it all, the Dulles TSA team remained steadfast, accepting potential risk in order to protect the traveling public and facilitate essential travel. As a side note to the team's regular duties, at the beginning of the crisis, many other workers at the airport began to either be furloughed, laid off, or have their hours greatly reduced. When that happened, the TSA team stepped up and established a temporary food pantry at Dulles to serve those in need. Many benefited from that generosity. Scott, on behalf of the Committee for Dulles, it gives me great pleasure to present to you a 2020 Tower of Dulles Award.
Thank you very much. Well, thank you very much for the award. You hit some key spots on your presentation that I think is important. 750 individuals make up my team at Dulles. Those individuals receive the generosity of this airport, the airlines, the concessions, about 2 years ago when we went into furlough. I think it was only appropriate now that we are working every day and many of our airline and airport employees aren't. We felt it was important that we step forward and support them. The team is unique. When I talk about 750, it is one big family. COVID hit hard, obviously, from 35,000 people a day being screened to 5,000 people being screened. But it doesn't really matter. Those 750, their mission is number one, the security of every passenger here. So when you add the security, you add COVID, you add everything associated with the current 2020 that we're in, I'm very proud of the team and extremely proud that on behalf of those individuals, I received this award for them. So thank you very much.
The Committee for Dulles is made up of over 70 businesses, nonprofits, and individuals who collectively come together to support the committee mission to support and promote the growth of Dulles International Airport and the business community and its surrounding environs. The Committee for Dulles has been around since 1966 and has only kept going through these many years because of the wonderful work of many of its members who step up to the plate to volunteer their time and talents. As its president, I get to see that work close up, and I'm very appreciative of how members support the committee. To recognize members who provide outstanding work, the Hal Launders Award was created back in 1991. The Hal Launders Award is given to a member or members who make the most significant contribution towards the achievement of the committee's goals. This award is named after Hal Launders, who was a founding member, a past president of the Committee for Dulles, and an active promoter of Dulles Airport and related airport activity. This year, the Committee for Dulles is pleased to present the Hal Launders Award to Dick Datos. Dick has been an active member of the Committee for Dulles since 1989. He's a member of the Board of Directors and serves on the Aviation and Airport Activities Committee. He has been a tremendous help to the organization. The chair of the Aviation and Airport Activities Committee, Georgia Grave, says, Dick has always worked diligently in the background to support and strengthen CFD. Without Dick, this committee would not have the great reputation for connecting people, and that goes on at Dulles every day. Dick is the executive director of the Metropolitan Washington Airlines Committee, which he helped establish in 1988. He represents all the domestic and international carriers with MWA with respect to the day-to-day operations of both Dulles and at Reagan Airport. His nearly 4 decades in the airline industry has been a tremendous value to us, and he has helped the Committee for Dulles stay on track of its mission. Dick, on behalf of the Committee for Dulles, I'm pleased to present to you the Hal Launders Award. Thank you for all you do in support of the committee.
Thank you, Jack. I appreciate it. Thank you again, Jack, to you and all the members of the Committee for Dulles for this very prestigious award, named after one of our founders, as you mentioned, of the committee, Hal Launders, who I had the pleasure to meet over 30 years ago when I first got roped into the Committee for Dulles by our dear friend Mary Waters. I've had the pleasure of working with this fine group of people over that time, and I think the one thing I've enjoyed the most, particularly through the Airport Activities Committee, is sort of imparting on others the joy of aviation that I have and behind the scenes at Dulles Airport, which most people don't get to see. So I really look forward to continuing the participation with the committee, and thank you very, very much for this prestigious award.
John, as president for the Committee for Dulles, I thank you for your support of the committee and for your service and leadership as a member of our board of directors. You have always helped to make us a better organization and keep our mission on track. I want to thank you for your service to the Dulles community. I cannot think of a more appropriate person to receive the David Edwards Community Service Award than you. Like Dave, you've been a leader in our Northern Virginia community for decades. During and after your service to our country in the world's finest Air Force. My first memory of you is when I heard you speak about the 3 C's, commerce, community, and communication a few years back. It is that middle C, community, that we want to recognize today. The most recent instance demonstrating your leadership and dedication to our community happened this past spring during the COVID-19 pandemic. You mobilized the Dulles Regional Chamber of Commerce in partnership with America's Charities to establish the Dulles Regional Charitable Fund. You worked with 2 local companies, Terra Site Constructors and Main Street Bank, to kickstart and provide some seed money to create the fund that addresses the immediate needs of individuals and families in the local community who are struggling to meet basic needs due to the impact of COVID. The fund you helped create empowers our local nonprofit organizations to serve those in need by garnering donations from businesses and individuals. John, it is my privilege to present you with the David Edwards Community Service Award for your tireless efforts to help our Dulles community be a better place to live, work, and prosper. Now, John couldn't be with us today, but he will follow up with these following remarks.
Thank you, Jack, and thank you to the Committee for Dulles and the Executive Committee for this honor. You know, when this award was originally announced, I got dozens of emails from folks to remind me what a great guy Dave was, and what a wonderful way for the Committee for Dulles to recognize Dave's memory in order to create this award. And I'm truly humbled to be among the awardees and to have my name recognized along with Dave's on this trophy. It kind of reminds me of a quote from Ralph Waldo Emerson, where he talks about it's not what's behind us or in front of us, but it's what's within us. And truly, the Committee for Dulles and the Dulles region is within me. And I just wanted to again say thank you for the opportunity, and thank you for creating this memorial award for Dave and all the great works that he did. Thank you.
First, let me thank Mike Stewart for allowing us to do the recording in the MWA conference room at Dulles Airport. And then Jerry Ferguson, who is with the Channel 10, Fairfax Public Access, Channel 10, for doing the videos for us. We had invited Jack Potter to join us, but I hadn't seen if he has joined. Oh, there he is. Jack, I'll turn the time over to you.
Well, first of all, let me just add the congratulations to all of the award winners. You know, it takes a community of people to have this airport run effectively. And it starts with the people in the community, and certainly we treasure the support that we get from the Committee for Dulles. Particularly now, we're running into some tough times, but you've been there over the years for us, and we're counting on you to continue to be there for us. You know, it is a challenging time, and I'm very, very proud of the men and women of MWA and all of the folks who work on the airport campus for sticking with us, for fighting through, and we have a long climb back. I heard a quote from somebody. They said that you know, COVID was for airports. We took the elevator to the basement, and now we're going to have to take the stairs to climb our way back out. And it's going to take all of us to make that happen. And certainly, you know, when you think of the men and women on the front line, there's nobody more on the front line in an airport than the TSA folks. And so, Scott, I want to thank you for your partnership. Thank each and every one of the men and women that work for you for their courage. They are truly heroes. They're protecting us, you know, from any kind of a danger, a terrorist type of act on the air, in an airplane. And we're very, very grateful for the service that you provide. Likewise, we're very grateful for all the services that are provided. And oh, there you are, Scott. And obviously, we wouldn't do anything without airlines, so we need those seats. And Dick Daytas, you've represented the Committee for Dulles, but I just want to let everyone know it goes well beyond just what he does on the Committee for Dulles. He's a great partner for MWA, working with all the airlines. And again, we as a community have of airlines now, and working with the airport, have really hung tight together as we're working our way through COVID. And Dick has been the catalyst for much of that. And so, Dick, we very much appreciate the work you're doing with the Committee for Dulles, but even more so the work that you do day in and day out for us over these last 32 years, making sure that there's a great relationship between MWA, the MWA community as a whole, and the airlines. And so I couldn't think of a better person to get you know, the Hal Wanders Award than Dick. And congratulations there. And then John Boylan, again, we work with the community. The chambers are important, have helped us out tremendously over the years, and we look forward to your continued support. So, Scott, thank you very much for allowing me to have the time just to, you know, again, add my congratulations to all. And while we're giving congratulations, Georgia, I love your outfit. You win the award for best dressed on this Zoom. Thank you. Thank you, Scott.
Thank you, Jack, and thank you for being with us today. We appreciate you taking out the time. And we also want to invite Mike Stewart, since he is there at Dulles day in and day out, to say a few words. Mike?
Thank you, Scott. And I won't belabor it here. I don't think I could say it any better than the boss just did. But Scott Johnson, you know, hopefully I tell you frequently enough, I truly value the partnership with the TSA here at Dulles. I've had the opportunity to work at a number of airports around the country since 9/11 and the formation of the TSA. And I got to tell you, folks, there is no better FSD and no better TSA workforce that we've got right here at Dulles Airport. And whether it be the food bank or anything else, you know, we deal with a lot of scary stuff sometimes. But Scott, the benefit of working with Scott is that it's always the starting point of a conversation is, how do we get this done? And Scott, I do value all your folks and yourself. Thank you for everything you do. Dick Daytos, there's nobody I love more to pick on than Mr. Daytos. I've been on both sides of the proverbial fence with him, as we say. Back in my airline days, I worked with him from that angle and here at the airport. But the one thing that's been consistent over the years is his work on the Committee for Dulles. I don't want to say this too loud, but you do a great job, Dick. And as Jack said, we not only appreciate what you do on the committee, but everything you do at the airport. I've asked him a number of times over the years, what else do you do? Because if you look at just his job description, I think he coordinates construction projects, but tremendous amount of work that goes in, and you guys have truly got an asset there, and having Dick on the board. So thanks, Scott. I appreciate it. And thanks again for the opportunity.
All right. Thank you, Mike. Appreciate it. And I'll just quickly, as executive director, add my congratulations to the TSA team out at Dulles, and to Dick Daytos, and to John Boylan. We certainly appreciate all that you do. Folks, we are close to the time for the drawings, but before we get into that, and we do have, I think, about 11 items to give away today, I want to turn a few minutes over to Carol Welty. Carol is our chair of the Community Outreach Committee, and she wanted to speak to us a little bit about their good work. So with that, Carol, I'll turn the virtual floor over to you.
Thank you. All right, so I did want to just briefly update everyone on the CFDCO as it continues to positively impact the Dulles community in spite of the pandemic. This past spring, we awarded 21 scholarships totaling $29,500 to graduating seniors going on to college who either worked or volunteered inside the fence at Dulles Airport, or who had a parent who did. We also donated $1,000 to the Dulles Food Pantry that TSA set up to help the employees at the airport at the beginning of the pandemic. Today, I want to tell you about cash donations that we'd like to make to Travelers Aid and the Dulles Airport Interfaith Ministry. Both are nonprofit organizations that provide vital services free of charge to assist travelers at Dulles Airport. First, Travelers Aid, day in and day out. Travelers Aid volunteers assist travelers at Dulles with useful information, directions, and travel-related problem solving. They can help locate a lost friend, assist the confused, and assist all who need help in the airport. They provide access to agency social workers, airport information, and directional services, as well as touring, transportation, and lodging information, and language interpretation. The CFDCO is pleased to donate $1,000 to Travelers Aid to use to bolster its homeless and stranded traveler assistance fund at Dulles Airport. Turning now to the Dulles Airport Interfaith Ministry. The ministry was founded as a spiritual and theological resource for passengers and employees. The chapel is staffed by ordained clergy and trained lay volunteers and is open 24/7. They provide pastoral guidance for those who are hurting, intercede in resolving personal conflicts, conduct religious services, and also provide a quiet place for private prayer, meditation, and religious observances. Throughout this pandemic, they have continued to serve and have physically distanced the chairs to make for a safe environment. And the CFDCO is pleased to donate $500 to the Airport Interfaith Ministry to assist them in their work at Dulles Airport. I want to thank both organizations for their important work and let them know that the checks have been mailed. So in all, the CFD sent out a grand total of $32,000 into the Dulles community in 2020. Turning the page to 2021, we haven't been able to raise money in many of our traditional ways due to the pandemic, but thanks to grants from the Enterprise Foundation, the Claude Moore Charitable Foundation, and the Ruth and Hal Launders Charitable Trust, we will be awarding at least 15 scholarships totaling $16,000 to the class of 2021. The application is on CFD's website and is due April 9th, 2021. And before I finish up, I just want to let you know that one way you can help at no cost to you, help raise money for this effort, is to shop Amazon Smile, which is available at smile.amazon.com on your computer. It also can be activated in the Amazon shopping app on your iPhones. When you shop at Amazon Smile, you'll find the exact same low prices, selection, convenience, but they will donate 0.5% of your eligible purchases to the CFDCO. So we very much appreciate it if you designate the CFDCO your charity of choice when you're shopping on Amazon. And thank you all and happy holidays.
Thank you, Carol. I appreciate it. All right. Now for the drawings. As mentioned earlier, you just need to be online in order to be able to win. And what I've done to try to make this fair, since you can't be in the same room, I printed out everybody's names. Anyway, so what I did, everybody who registered, I printed out their names on equal size paper that you all can see here. And I have them in a bowl that you can see here. And what I will do after announcing what is being given away, I will put my left hand in the bowl and then pick a slip of paper out. And just so you all know, I did not print my name on every slip of piece of paper. And I am removing my name from eligibility because I just don't think it is good for the person doing the drawing to be eligible for any prize and to add any to possible conflicts or confusion there. Our first gift is a $50 off gameplay certificate from Top Golf. This gift expires March 31st of 2021, and it comes in a little goodie gift bag. And I think there's a box here that's sealed, but we think it is golf balls. And then it looks like some gloves in there and a few other things. So the first person for that will be, gosh, I hope you like the golf. Our good friend with Lufthansa Airlines, Peter Rodehofer. So I will stick that there. And Peter was on earlier. Are you still here, Peter?
Sorry, actually, I quickly had to step out. This is Peter Rohofer speaking.
Gotcha. Okay, so you're good. I will get this over to you in the next few days. All right. Our next gift is from Uno Brewing Company, and it is an exclusive behind-the-scenes brewery tour with owner and head brewer Scott Hoffman for up to 10 people, and also a gift card of $20 for the group to sample beer from their self-served beer. And this one will expire on June 30, 2021. So this one goes to Howard Lansat. Howard, are you on?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. So this will go to you, and either I or Georgia will get this to you.
Wonderful. Thank you, Scott.
Thank you, Howard. Our next item is, let's see, from Westfield's Golf Club. It is a certificate, and let's see, entitles the holder to a complimentary foursome of golf with cart and range balls at Westfields. It is valid Monday through Thursday, just not on holidays. So, and again, since this is from Westfields, I want to reiterate our golf tournament that will be on April 26th. Hope all of you can join us for there. And during the event today, I want to thank Joe Thornburg, who became a gold sponsor for that event. So thank you, Joe. The Westfields Golf Club certificate will go to Bill Lebergren. Bill, are you on? Bill? I know he was on.
Yeah, he was on earlier.
He was on early. All right, I'll draw another name.
And hold on a second. He is still on. Let me, he is unmuted. And I'm asking him to start video. There you are. So I don't think he's got audio.
He's good. Okay. All right. So that will go to Bill. All right. Now, the next two items are from GAM Graphics and Marketing. They are two winter coats. Winner gets one. We have one extra large and one large. I will show you them. They are great jackets. This just happens to be mine. They are nice and toasty. And I know you all will love it if you are the winter. And the first person to win gets to choose between the extra large and the large. So that will go to Kevin Reagan. Is Kevin Reagan on? Okay. The next person, let's see. Annie Heinz. Annie Heinz.
She was on earlier.
Okay, let me do another one. Bob Schott.
I'm here.
All right, you want an extra large or large?
I'll take the large.
All right, you got it, my friend.
Thank you.
Just, okay. The next winner. Mary Holden, are you on?
Mary Gail is on.
I'm here. I just need to, here I am.
All right, you get the extra large.
It'll take two of me.
Well, you can snuggle up in it and you'll enjoy it.
I'm sure I can find someone who can use it. That's a great, if it's from GAM, you know, it's going to be great.
It is. All right. Our next item is a one-night stay in a King Junior Suite with breakfast for two. It expires on March 31st, and it is at the Hilton Washington Dulles. Always a great place to be. All right, that goes to Bill Peterson. Is Bill Peterson on with us?
I am here. Let's see.
All right, excellent.
All right. Thank you very much.
I have your email and we'll work on getting the certificate over to you.
Fantastic. Thank you very much.
Thank you for being with us today. All right, the next gift, let's see. Okay, is from KLM. This is a round trip economy ticket to Amsterdam. And we are thankful to Shalil Chadha, who is the representative here for KLM. I apologize if I mispronounce the name. And before I go any further with the airline tickets, I just want to say thank you very much for these generous donations. We know how hard all of you have been impacted by COVID this year, and it's very gracious of you to give us these vouchers to be able to give away. Again, this is from KLM, one economy round trip ticket to Amsterdam. And this, come on, get the paper apart. It's what I get for not having any fingernails. All right. Muhammad Khan.
I'll be on.
All right. So you've got one ticket. Now you purchase another ticket and take somebody with you. So,
Good.
all right. Our next one is from Air France, and we want to thank Vanna Oak, who is their representative here. And I believe she was on or may still be on with us. So we thank her and Air France for this wonderful gift. It is a one round trip ticket, economy class to Paris. And if you haven't been to Paris, let me tell you, it is a great place to visit. Sanjia Rivera Beckno, are you on?
I sure am, and I'm speechless. Thank you so much.
All right, Sanjia. For those who may not know Sanjia, she is she's the boss out at the Dulles Signature Flight Support, and a new member to CFD. Signature Flight Support has been a longtime member, and we want to thank Sanjia, who is going to assume the position of secretary for 2021. So thank you, Sanjia. Now, our next one is from Qatar Airlines. And this is 2 round trip tickets to anywhere Qatar goes from Dulles through Doha. So for an example, and I don't know if they fly to Japan, if you want to go to Japan, you have to go through Doha to catch another Qatar flight to get to Japan. So they are 2 economy round trip tickets with space available upgrade to business class.
Yes.
And you have to, let's see, redeem these by the 19th of February, and then you have 90 days following that to utilize the ticket. So the winner is Carol Jarrells. And I apologize if I mispronounce the last name, Jarrells.
She's on.
Carolyn?
And I will unmute her or ask her to unmute. But she is present.
Okay. You're the judge.
There's no recounts on this one.
Yeah. All right. And I see we have something in chat. Jack, have you checked that to make sure there's not something we've missed?
I don't believe so. I think we're...
Our next and last ticket giveaway is from United, and we want to thank you, United, who is a member of the committee for Dulles. They have given us a voucher for 2 round trip tickets anywhere in the US 48 Canada, Alaska, Caribbean, Mexico, or Central America. And these are first class or business seats. And with that, let's see, and the certificates are valid for up to 12 months listed from the certificate. So that would have been from November 19th. So, all right. The lucky winner of this one will be Franceses. I'm sorry, Francese. Al, are you on?
Albert is on. I've asked him to unmute, and there you are, Al.
Okay. All
He
right.
is. He's currently muted, but he's now unmuted. Al, are you there? He's having
All right.
some technical issues with sound.
Okay, well, the judge says you're there and we see you there, so great. We will get all these gifts out to everybody as soon as possible within the next week. And I just want to congratulate everybody. And as executive director, I want to thank all of you for joining us for our event today. And Jack, I think that completes my portion, so I will turn the time back over to you.
Well, congratulations to the winners, and thank you, Scott, for making this a little bit of fun there at the end of a great presentation. I would like to ask everybody to turn their camera on if they're able to, so that Scott may take a picture. It's good to see everybody. I'm glad that everybody is well. I'm glad to see everybody energized to take on 2021. I do want to thank United, Qatar, KLM, Air France for the wonderful tickets and the support of the committee. This concludes today's program. I want to thank you all for attending today, and thank you to our partner sponsor, Loudoun County Economic Development, our advocate sponsor, the Fairfax County EDA, today's program sponsor, GAMP Graphics and Marketing. Thank you for supporting the Committee for Dulles. May all of you have a wonderful and peaceful holiday season, and may 2021 be a much better year for all of us. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Happy holidays.
Thank you.
Happy holidays.
Merry Christmas.
Happy
Fly
Happy
Dulles.
holidays, everyone.
Fly
Stay
Dulles.
safe.
Everyone.
Fly Dulles.
Merry Christmas.
Keep flying Dulles.
Merry
Happy
Christmas.
holidays.
Bye.
Dallas, definitely. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you all.